Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, taken from the subreddit HFY. The links to all the stories will be down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider subscribing.
Story number 1. I Saw Humanity Die, written by Emperor of the Anarchy. 38 hours, 46 minutes. The human civilization died in 36 hours and 46 minutes. Those were the longest 2 days of my life. Even now, every time I fall asleep, I'm back at the center point, back watching the destruction of the most promising species the galactic community had seen in centuries, back to where my hands could do nothing but my words fell upon the void. Humanity was a young race by galactic standards, and their technology was ancient by anyone's standards. Truly, they were a disappointingly average or even sub-average race at first glance. That is, until you realize that they had electricity for less than 300 years. This was a shock to just about every single civilization in the galaxy. In less than 300 years, a young race had gone from a pre-industrial amalgamation of empires and tribes to a largely united interstellar civilization. This was unbelievable. No, I mean literally unbelievable. Nobody believed it until 30 separate organizations sent stealth vessels to the human system to investigate the claims. The results were 100 times more shocking than anyone could have even imagined. Humans are special, you see. They have a lot of trouble inventing entirely new things or discovering entirely new branches of science. Something as simple as a force field, for instance, eluded them right up to the end. A civilization that had built not one, but 3 different types of FTL, and yet never came close to understanding force fields. Crazy, isn't it? So, what makes them special then, you ask? Well, it is the ability to build upon technology. Their technology advanced in an explosive rate compared to the rest of the galaxy. For example, they went from discovering heavier-than-air flight to heavy, fully capable propeller-powered flight in craft in 8 years, and reached the limits of propeller technology 20 years after that. It took my people 290 years to do the same, and another 50 to create the first jet aircraft. Humans had jets before they even reached the limit of propeller craft. Not just that, but sadly, they also had nuclear weapons, which they used almost immediately after discovering. Before I continue, I need to explain something. Humans were warriors. They were the purest warriors nature had ever crafted. This was the secret behind their strange technological path. Every technology that they had ever created was backboned by a military need. Tell me, what is the most apocalyptic war that you can think of? The Viscray Civil War with over 100,000 dead? The Younger Wars, which killed an unimaginable 1 million? Yeah, well, how about the Human Great War? The one that killed over 16 million people. You can take a minute to process that information. You okay now? You done regurgitating your breakfast? Okay. Let's continue. Humans mastered the art of building upon technology to have an advantage on one another in case of war. This is why they are able to simply explosively upgrade their technology year by year. Rather than discovering something new, they were on a race to have the best version of whatever it was they already knew. The constant cycle of technological counters and responses made them grow at a truly astounding rate. Sadly, this also made them so volatile. You see, humans had 2 world wars before we found them, the Great War and World War II. After the second of these 2 wars, by which they made the first one look like a footnote in their history books, the only 2 major nations were left standing were the United States of America and the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republic. But only the United States had a navy, and boy, was it an enormous one. It was so enormous that the powerful, in fact, that it could exert their power across the entire world's oceans, and they did. Unlike before, where every merchant ship could, at any time, be attacked by pirates or another nation's warships, now they were all protected by the U.S. Navy. This led to an unprecedented time of peace and growth in their planet. This quickly made the USA the most stable, rich, and powerful nation in their world, the anchor of every single nation's economy in their world, and this is what killed them. Center Point was a Type A stealth observation station. It had been secretly placed between their home world of Earth and their colony world of Mars. The station was undergoing renovations to make contact with Earth. Contact would have established 2 days and, I sometimes wonder if I'd made contact earlier. No, I'm sorry, let's focus on the story. Okay, so I was the chief of observation in the station. My subordinates had strict orders to contact me should anything abnormal happen. You see, tensions had been rising between the European Union, the United States, and the Martian Republic, and after the declaration of independence by the United Colonies of Germany, with the backing of the Martian Republic, this could become a shooting war at any moment. Actually, this is the reason we decided to make contact with Earth. This was far from the first so-called Cold War, and this was far from the hottest even in the past decade. But better safe than sorry, I guess. Anyways, my head assistant told me something weird was happening in the US. I tried to get more information from him, but the poor man was unable to explain himself since he had no idea exactly what was wrong, just that something definitely was. It didn't take me long to reach the observation rooms, where almost everyone had their screens focused on the USA. I activated my screen, and immediately I understood what my assistant had meant by weird. I was getting strange readings across the spectrum, strange movements of people, an absurd increase in their internet and phones, an explosion of violence, and what can only be called looting in grocery stores, seemingly endless pillars of vehicles trying to exit a number of cities, and a low seismic resonance across the entire continent. Things happened really quickly after I noticed this. That's because, just as I did, every single screen on the observation deck went dark. There are only 2 reasons for this to happen. The first is a power outage, impossible in a fusion-powered station. The other is to protect the user from the images so bright that they can harm him. A few seconds later, the screen came back on, and what I saw was simply unbelievable. A dark cloud so big that 100 nuclear bombs would fall short to imitate was visible rising into the atmosphere. Yellowstone, one of Earth's supervolcanoes, had just gone, and this was only the beginning. The explosion was so violent and powerful, it created visible waves that spread out like they do on a pond after a rock has been thrown into it. The waves of moving rock and dirt uprooted entire cities as they devastated their way across the nation until they reached the sea 45 minutes later. In 45 minutes, 350 million out of 400 million Americans died. In 45 minutes, every semblance of the American government and its military chain of command was destroyed. In 45 minutes, 200 out of the 215 American warships were either destroyed or buried under dozens of meters of stone and dirt. In 45 minutes, the United States of America ceased to exist, and the reaction by the rest of the world was immediate. The 15 U.S. spaceport ships that had kept the EU and MR ships from shooting one another were immediately and savagely attacked by both. And as the Texas, the last American ship, floundered, Admiral Petrov within his command center sent out a signal. The 2 over 10,000 stealth nuclear missiles scattered throughout the void. The missiles immediately activated their engines, and in but a few hours, hell rained down on Mars as every single Martian colony and bunker, as well as every single EU, Chinese, and Russian colony was laid to waste. Unsure whose missiles were now raining on their people, everyone retaliated on everyone. Israel scorched Egypt, Germany burned Israel, Britain burned France and Germany, etc. The devastation was supreme, it was epic and truly apocalyptic. Not one nation was spared, not one nation spared another. Finally, even the planet was laid to waste as someone's dead man's trigger activated. Over 100 jump engines secretly buried on Luna. Luna disappeared and reappeared but a few hundred kilometers away from Earth, and moving at relativistic speeds. The impact was fantastic. The Earth split open like a ripe fruit, its magma scattering like juice. The tectonic plates distorted like a useless peel. That's how humanity ended, not with a boom, but with a cataclysmic bang. End of story number 1. Story number 2. It Runs Doom by Cullen W99. Audio log incident report number 72. Ryan, what are you doing with the meal synthesizer? seeing if it can run Doom. Profanity, doubt. This is the 5th time you've given that excuse during an unscheduled maintenance of my ship's resident systems. I can understand wanting to test the failures threshold of vital tech, but you have yet to give me any of your results. That's not what I'm doing at all. Then what are you doing? From my perspective, it seems as though the only human on the ship is sabotaging expensive equipment, claiming to have broken it and neglecting to update the ship's equipment log. Whoa. I reset every device I worked on onto the previous setting when I was finished. Nothing's broken. Then why is it ran Doom the only report I get from every time you do this? If a device has met the demise, that's meant to be beyond repair. Oh, I see where this is going. Doom is the name of a game from 1993. That's hundreds of years before First Contact. Yep, 12 megabytes of gory nostalgia. That's less than everything. There isn't a device on the ship that couldn't fit that in leftover space from when debugging tools were removed. Yep, if anything, it's hard to find anything that can't run Doom. But why? To know if we could. We? Yeah, you think I came up with this challenge? I need to update some maintenance protocols. Low quality buzzing sound starts. Profanity, reproduction, yeah, that makes the translator, workbench, wardrobe, elevator, shower, and vending machine. Wait, did you say shower? Yeah. Intercom, disregard all cases of hallucinations among security team and redirect them to the civilian washroom until further notice. End of story number 2.
I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you wish to support the author, there is a link to the original story, so pop over there and give him your support. If you wish to support this channel, however, there are a few ways to do so. The best and easiest would be to share this video with other people, as well as liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. All of these things tell the algorithm that this channel is at least vaguely interesting, and that may share it with other people. If you wish to support the channel in some other manner, watching my other videos would also help tremendously. Or, if you really like, there is a link down below to leave a tip or to join the Patreon. Any and all support is very much appreciated. And I hope that you all have a good one until the next time, and I'll see you then. Cheers.